Good morning, afternoon, or evening, guys. Welcome back for another YouTube video, all in crypto here, and this is going to be your daily cryptocurrency market update. We have got some really exciting things to get into. The price action is very lackluster. It is the holidays. You know, we're taking a bit of time off trading over this time period, ready to get back into it in January. But I want to make a bit more of a cheery video. We're very sort of doom and gloom on the price. Or the prices of cryptocurrencies. And that has a lot to do with, you know, the cross-market analysis that we're seeing and the fact that we think that, you know, we're in trouble in terms of an economy globally. There's a lot of unprecedented things happening that all point to further destruction across all assets. Gold, the stock market, the crypto market, you know, the same pool of liquidity is being really punished by what the federal banks around the world are doing, or I should say the central banks. But I want this to be a bit more of a cheery video because for many of you, this may be your first bull and now bear market that you've gone through. And this is the second one for me. And I'm sure many of you are feeling similar to how I felt back in 2018 when the price just continued to go lower. It seemed like there was no hope. And in actual fact, it was then that I really cemented my opinion on the crypto space, because the more due diligence that I did, the more looking at this space and what it was trying to do, looking at this technology and what it brought that I did, the more bullish I became and the more of a actual, I don't want to call it a faith, but a belief that this technology was going to change the world I had. And I'm here to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, it is the exact same situation playing out. The cryptocurrency market will recover. It's going through teething problems. All new assets go through teething problems. I'm going to do a video later on tonight, so watch out for that, talking about the correlations between the dot-com boom and the cryptocurrency market. We've covered this since I started the channel, but I actually thought this might have been the dot-com boom when actually it looks more like this was, which means that if it's to play out in that kind of a fashion, there's more demand destruction coming. But I want to play you a clip from Larry Fink. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Larry Fink, you should be. He's the largest asset manager in the world. He, of course, is the asset manager of Blackrock. And this is going to take me a couple of videos to get and digest everything he set out here, because he talks about governance. Governance is a huge part of crypto that people don't quite grasp yet. It's still such a new technology, but he talks about in this clip, and we're going to play it, the tokenization of everything. And this is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen, for the world. The blockchain, distributed ledger technology, as they, you know, like to call it, or is going to change the world. It is already changing the world. And that is only going to get more aggressive and aggressive and aggressive. Just like how me and you are sat on the internet right now, looking at a computer screen. We've got a mobile phone in our pocket. We drive a car to work. These are all technological revolutions. Blockchain is going to be the technology that runs tomorrow's financial system, probably accounting system. You know, it's going to play such a big role. In fact, when was the last technology that we had that has only really been about since 2008, but is already being adopted by central banks around the world in the form of CBDCs? Guys, I'm telling you, many cryptos will not survive this bear market, but the ones that do will be the Amazons of tomorrow, will be the Apples of tomorrow, the Microsofts, the Alphabets. You got to stick with it, guys, and I don't want anybody to lose hope. And actually, it's, what's the time at the moment? It's 11 a.m. in the morning for me. I have no obligations to do anything. In fact, I don't have to do anything today if I don't want to. And that's because of the investments that I made and the decisions I made back in the bear market when nobody else wanted to, that have now afforded me a level of financial freedom that I didn't have back then. And I think the same opportunities are going to repeat, but even bigger for those of you that take advantage of the bottom of this market when it comes. So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then we'll talk about what he's saying. We've got a little bit more news. Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, has or is getting deported. He looks rather like Escobar here. And it's came out, I think, that Caroline actually has pled guilty to fraud. So it's not looking good. And it does seem that actual fraud was what happened here. And that's why FTX failed, which is why we've actually came out and defended Binance and said, no, this is two of a different kind. You know, this is not the same thing taking place. So let's go ahead and play this clip and then we'll talk about it.
The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem. You don't need trust banks.
But does that disrupt you eventually? Because you are custodying all of these assets.
No, we're not a custodian. We're not, we use third-party custodians in everything we do.
In everything you do.
Let me go ahead and play what he just said again, because it's extremely important what he just said, because this is the way of the world. You know, this is the way that things are now going. We do community discussions in my Patreon, and the topic was Binance, but we ventured off into regulations. You know what it would mean. What would it mean if cryptocurrencies got labeled as securities? Would it be the end of them? I don't think it would. I think actually in some ways it would give them more legitimacy, even though perhaps unfairly they would be labeled as securities. But are they commodities? You know, there's this whole debate going on. But let's play what Larry Fink said again, and then we'll wrap this video up.
The next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem. You don't need trust banks.
But does that disrupt you?
So what he's saying there is he thinks everything is going to be ran on the blockchain. Remember Wells Fargo did that article, that report, talking about, you know, we've had the internet of information. This is now the internet of value. This is how everything is going to transact around the world. This is my belief of what's coming for this technology, guys. And I've never been more adamant, despite the price action. And this is why we do daily videos for you guys talking about the price action, because the price actions and the answers to why it's doing what it's doing lies elsewhere. It lies with monetary policy. It lies with the kind of macroeconomic landscape. This is something, and we weren't the first to talk about the macro, but we cottoned onto it a lot sooner than others, and we've saved a hell of a lot of money for it and have done very well in terms of crypto portfolios. But this is what's coming, guys. And when he's talking about the security industry, and we're talking about, you know, securities like stocks, etc., is going to be tokenized. You are talking about trillions. One company at one point, I think did Apple reach $3 trillion at its height? The entire space of the entire market cap of the cryptocurrency at the peak of its bull market. You're talking about hundreds of trillions being onboarded and ran through the blockchain. You're perhaps talking about hundreds of trillions when we talk about the FX market and the CBDC market. And if you can pick the cryptocurrencies that are going to play a role in that, I'll give you one right now that we spoke about, Chainlink. If you can pick the ones that are going to do well, you are going to be the beneficiary of tomorrow's world, which I think is going to be a world that's ran largely on the blockchain. And you've got the largest asset manager right here telling you that. So even though, yes, we have doubts in regards to the fact, or not doubts, we do have doubts about certain cryptos, but we have ultimately a very good suspicion that things go a lot lower because of everything going on. That doesn't mean that we're not a believer in the crypto space or blockchain. I've never been more of a believer. We just understand as traders, as investors, what the price is doing. You know, I am on a journey to become I don't want to use the word professional trader, because how do you monitor what's a professional trader, what's not? But a trader for a living. You know, which we have kind of been in the forms of investments and trading those investments. But in terms of, you know, really my goal is to become a market analyzer, and we're on that journey, and we've done a good job of it so far. But that is separate from fundamentally what's going on here. And what's fundamentally going on here is you are changing the world through a technology that, you know, has an unsure origin. I've got my own conspiracies, but it's magical, and you guys need to remember that. And it's a magical time of year, being with Christmas around the corner. I don't want people to lose hope and get disheartened. And if you ever feel like that, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. You know, it's not. Investing isn't simple. And it's hard. It's frustrating. When you get it wrong, it's painful. But when you get it right, all those wrongs are worth it. And I can vouch for that. And I can tell you that if you stick with this, what's going on here, this industry, there's going to be opportunities like you will probably never ever see again in your lifetime coming your way. And that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. Just a quick one. Looks like Sam Bankman-Fried is finally being extradited to the US. Alameda, Caroline, Ellison. FTX's Gary Wang. Great name. I wish my second name was Wang. Plead guilty to BOJ fraud. Charges also settle with the SEC and CFTC. FTX Bankman-Fried was charged and arrested last week. We know about this. But it looks like they are now going to end up in the slammer. So that's all I've got for you guys. Don't lose hope out there. Market action's so boring. We're not even going to trade it. Not really much to say. Let's just wait for... We've given you all this, you know. We called for the rally from here up here. We said, okay, it's over now. I do think it is over and it's going to continue down. But that we can cover in another video if you guys want to. All I've got for you guys. Hopefully you've all had a great week and you're looking forward to Christmas. See you in the next one, guys.